All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the Sports Space Show. Glad to see you're feeling better.
Thanks for having me, Byron. Yes, I'm glad to be back.
Glad to be back, and you're in line for a good show. You're just in time too. We got on two great guests. We got on former MLB pitcher Scott Sanders, played for my Padres and other teams, and we got on former Tampa Bay Buck, which I know you're going to love, Ricky Reynolds, joining us as well at 9:30. So before we get to Scott Sanders, wow, are you officially happy? Baseball is back.
Yes, baseball is back. Exciting. 60-game season is better than. I don't want to be the Debbie Downer here. I still have my doubts that there's a season that starts. Just given the whole virus outbreak and all these new cases, I mean, all it takes is a few cases on one team, and I feel like that team can't play. And then what happens if one team can't play? Does the whole season stop? I still have my doubts, but I hope in the end there's baseball. I'll take the 60-game season over no games. Let's
Understanding from Ken Rosenthal, Jeff Passan, I'm getting the fact that it's going to be, as it was originally before they got this done, it's going to be division by division, geographically, East against East, and then 20 against your geographical division, and the playoffs are going to be the same. I kind of like that, because now that gives my Padres an even better chance of winning, because they're facing off against the likes of the Mariners, they're facing the Angels, they're facing Oakland. All sorry teams. And the Rangers. And plus the sorry teams in their division. Besides the Dodgers.
I wouldn't call the A's sorry. I mean, I think the Angels have always lacked pitching, but when you got Mike Trout and you got those big names there, Ohtani, I don't think I was seeing some tweets and the Padres can have it easy there. I disagree with that. I think the Central is the easiest.
Do you know who predicted that the Padres would win it all this year, have a good chance? A national.
I'm guessing you.
I'm not a columnist yet. We're not no journalist yet.
Who's that?
Was Bob Nightingale of USA Today. He said out of all the teams that have a good shot of winning it is the ones with the young pitching core, which is like what the Rays and is like what the Padres have, is because instead of this 162 normal game schedule, pitchers can go out with the rest now. They can go all 9 if they wanted to, starting pitching. I mean, look at who. For example, I know you're going to say the same thing as I am because I'm also a Rays. Look at who we got. We got 3 dominating pitchers, plus more coming up. We got Snell, former Cy Young winner. Morton, who's also another potential Cy Young winner. And Tyler Glasnow. Don't forget not to mention Ryan Yarbrough and Yanni Chirinos. So the Padres have the same core.
I've been hearing that teams that have the most depth, it benefits them, but I also think it's a sprint now. It's not a marathon. So teams that maybe don't have the staying power of 162 games have the staying power of 60 games. Now, what team is that, and what team am I trying to kind of thinking of? I don't know yet, but I actually think I think the Rays, I think talent will trump everything. The Rays will be in the thick of things. I will totally agree with that. But I think there's going to be wild card teams there. Not wild card like getting a wild card, but just teams that that will be in it when they probably shouldn't be.
And you know what I like?
I'm trying to example, but nothing's coming to mind.
You know what I like about this whole thing too? Universal DH. Everybody has a DH now. No more pitching. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I mean,
no more of that for this season. I kind of like that.
I'm indifferent. It's whatever. I know there's some people that hate that. Some people love it. I'm indifferent of it. It's okay.
And did you hear about the rule if they go extras? I like this. They should have implemented this a long time ago to save the game. Put a runner on second.
I disagree with you there 100%. I hate that rule. I think I always will hate that rule. No, why do you get to put someone on second base? I hate it. I hate it.
That's speeding up the game, though, which is what you need. Baseball is slow as can be anyhow. Say if you have an extra inning game that goes 17 innings. I mean, who's honestly really going to watch?
Byron, how many games are going 17 innings? I don't know the exact number. I would imagine it's probably under 20 games in the whole season. You're not saving but a dozen or so games that go 17 innings. Like it doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen, and I get your point on that. But when it does happen, I'd much rather see the game. I'd much rather see the game sped up. But I see it's 9-11. I see it's 9-11 now, so we might as well give him a call, and then we'll talk more about it in depth with him, former player, and we'll talk more after he's done with. We're done calling him as well. So let's get him on the phone.
Hello.
Hey, Scott. Welcome to the Sports Space Show with Byron and Eric. How are you tonight?
Doing great. How you guys doing?
Good. I hope you're staying safe just like we are.
That's right. Trying my best for sure.
So let's hop right into it. As I told you, I'm a Padre fan. Go Padres. So
that's right.
That's right. Go Friars. So I gotta ask you.
That's right.
You pitched in the '90s for the Padres. What was it like playing for big names like Tony Gwynn, Trevor Hoffman, and guys like that in the late '90s when they went to that World Series run? What was it like pitching?
I tell you, number one, it was amazing because all those guys you mentioned, Tony Gwynn, class act. I mean, one of the greatest, most professional players of all time. Not only probably the greatest hitter that ever walked the earth, but also a great man. Trevor Hoffman, same way. At one point, Trevor had the most saves in baseball history. Obviously, Mariano Rivera took the lead from him, but same thing. Trevor Hoffman, as amazing of a pitcher he was, he's a better human. You know what I mean? So those. So know how amazing they are as people would make them really special.
That's great. That's great to hear, and that's why I fell in love with the Padres in the late '90s. That's when I started watching ball. When I was old enough to remember, I believe I was 7 when I first started watching the Padres, and that was that World Series year in '98 because that's when they got the most publicity. So it was great times. And we had a stacked roster. We had, I believe, it was Glenn, it was Hoffman, it was you. It was, I believe, Greg Vaughn was on that team. Ken Caminiti, yeah.
Steve Finley, oh yeah.
So
Ricky Henderson was there.
That's right, at the end of his career, yeah. So I mean, that's when I fell in love with the Padres, and I know they're trying to build it to this day, so that leads me now to this day with them. I know they're trying to go back to those days. Do you like what they're doing with their additions that they got with the mix of veterans and young guys? And where do you see them going this year?
I do. I mean, they broke it down to build it up, and honestly, that's what happened. I was very lucky. I got drafted in 1990. And at the time, they had a pretty good team, had a ton of veterans. Obviously, in the meantime, they sold a bunch of older guys off. They brought this farm system up, and they built from the base. And then that's when they picked. Well, obviously, they had Tony Gwynn because he came up, through the system. But we got Trevor Hoffman in the trade for Gary Sheffield. We had Ken Caminiti and Steve Finley, for trades when they were looking for salary dumps in Houston. So So, I mean, that's what the Padres are trying to do now. The problem is now they just have to face the Dodgers, and the Dodgers are loaded. You know what I mean? So I do like what they're doing. You know, they have a good base of young groups. You know, they picked up Machado, they picked up, you know, like Eric Hosmer, and they're trying to put some key pieces around. The problem is, you know, these young guys they need to learn how to win, and they just haven't had that. They haven't had that 1 or 2 good years back to back where they actually win. You know, where you can build up that core of, hey, listen, when we walk out and face the Dodgers, we walk out and face the Astros or the Yankees or the Giants, you know, they think they're going to win, but they don't know they're going to win, you know. And we were like that in 92, 93, 94, 95, 96. We busted through the seams. You know what I mean? They had a really good year. 96 won the division. 97 they were okay. 98, you know, with the addition of Kevin Brown, we went through the roof, you know. And I think that the Padres are definitely going in the right direction. I just think those young guys need to learn how to win, and you know, it's easier said than done.
Right.
Hey, Scott, this is Eric over here, co-host of the show. I kind of let Byron steal the show as a Padre fan. That's right. That's right. You can take it. But yeah, so I kind of wanted to ask you, you know, this season is probably, you know, the most unique season we'll hopefully ever have. What's your take on the 60-game season, and do you see it benefiting? Because Byron and I were just talking about it. Do you see it benefiting a team that has more depth, or a team that has like it's built for like a sprint?
The two things I think that are going to be key in a short 60-game season is youth and bullpen. If you ask me what's the two things I think is most important, I think youth's going to be important because, number one, it's going to be a short spring training. So young guys can get in shape quicker. They can get their arms are healthier. And number two, guys with bullpens like the Brewers. You know, you get the Brewers are loaded. Different people like that, they have loaded bullpens. You know, I see starters going 5 innings, 6 innings, 80 pitches, 90 pitches, and out. You know, I think at the beginning, starters might go 60 pitches, you know, first time out. Bumped it up to 70, up to 80, up to 90. I don't think you'll see guys throwing 125 pitches, you know, as starters this year, because it's such a short stint that it's going to be more, you know, get your starter in, let him get 5 to 6 innings, get him out, turn over to your bullpen, and just keep rolling that direction. Because, you know, I was in 94. I was in that strike. I kind of caught up in the last big strike they had 94. You know, right. we went back in 95, had a short spring training. I was young at the time. You know, jumped out to a first time out. I pitched 6 2/3 innings. Then I went 7 innings. Then I went 8 innings. And next, you know, at the All-Star break, my arm was hurt. I mean, at the time I was 20. I think I was 25 years old. You know, so not saying young guys can't get hurt, but I'm thinking, you know, if young guys get hurt, you know, you got to take care. The older guys got to really be careful. You know, so it's going to definitely a sprint, but I just think it brings more teams into play, because at the end of the day, you know, if a team gets hot, it doesn't have to be the Dodgers that get hot. I mean, you can look at the Seattle Mariners. They started out 13-2 last year. I think it was a 12-3. You know what I mean? You know, they didn't keep it up. But if you take the 60-game sprint, you know, that those first 12-3 or 13-2, you got a leg up on a lot of people. So it's going to definitely be a season that nobody's ever seen before.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and you know, 60 games is better than no games. So
I totally agree. I mean, America, we need baseball. Baseball is America's sport. I mean, I love football. I love basketball, soccer, NASCAR, golf. You name it, I watch them all. But at the end of the day, almost everybody's really playing baseball at some point in their life. You know what I mean? So everybody has a passion for baseball, because if you look at it, you know, 75% of young youth boys, they play baseball. It might be city league, it might be travel ball, it could be all kind of different things. But you know, we need that back. You know, I just hope they can really keep everybody safe. You know, I do hope at some point fans could, you know, maybe 25-30% of the capacity can be seen. You know, I just think we need it as a country, because it'll be a big boost, just like after 9/11. You know, baseball was huge after 9/11 when it came back.
Right, that's a good point. And hopefully, I still have my doubts, but hopefully I'm not the Debbie Downer here. Hopefully it happens.
No, hey, trust me, I have my doubts too. I mean, you know, I see numbers, and I mean, these guys are, you know, NBA is going to be in a bubble, which I think is smart, but I still think even in the bubble, the guys are at risk, you know, because does everybody in that bubble really do the right thing? Probably not. You know what I mean? us here in America, we're not used to being in bubbles in America. That's why we live here. You know what I mean? We want to be out. We want to be free. We want to do what we want to do, when we want to do, how we want to do it. So you're looking at baseball. These guys are going back to their apartments, to their houses, to their condos. They're going to be at hotels. They're going to be on trains and planes and buses. They're going to be eating at restaurants. There's a lot of things, and the problem is when the one guy brings it back, does he bring it back to, only himself, or does he bring it back to 2-3 other people? And then they get set off for 2 weeks. I mean, 2 weeks is, you think 2 weeks, you're missing 10 games. You're missing 1/6 of the season, probably a little bit more than of the season if you get quarantined for 2 weeks. So what happens if you three-fourths of the pitching staff get it, because they're working out together, they're running together. Guys work out. When pitchers run, they run in pods. They run 3-4 guys at a time. Obviously that's got to be changed. But guess what? We're creatures of habit. I don't want to go out and run. I don't want to go out and run 15 poles by myself. I want to run 15 poles with 2 or 3 of my buddies and shoot the crap while we're running. You know what I mean? I want to chew sunflower seeds. You know what I mean? I want to chew bubble gum. You know what I mean? It's all things that these guys can't do. And to to break a creature of habit, it's not easy to do. You don't tell somebody, oh, you can't spit. I'm 51 years old. I still spit today when I go outside because it's just a habit from playing baseball for all my life.
Right. It's going to be interesting to see. Yeah, I think it's definitely it's interesting. Oh man. Another question I have for you is, what's your view on the increase of analytics in baseball? I know that wasn't a big thing when you were playing, but what's your view on that? And do you think that could have helped you when you played?
Well, I think 100% analytics could have really helped. I've kind of dove and more into them now. My son Cameron is a minor leaguer with the Cubs, so I mean he gets tons of analytics and the spin rate and different things, and
right.
Even in minor leagues they shift in minor leagues now because they get every at bat via computer. So I mean they're shifting on guys. You know what I mean? In minor leagues now. And that's the only thing. I'm not a big fan of analytics because of the shift. I'm not a real big fan of the shift, to be honest. You know what I mean? Because obviously, if I was pitching, you know what I mean, I would love to have those analytics and have guys shift over because I can't tell you how many base hits I've given up between the first baseman and second baseman. Where if I had analytics, those guys would have been out. You know what I mean? So,
right.
That part I would have loved, but at the same time, I just think it's taken a lot of the excitement out of the game. And at the end of the day, people want to see runs, you know what I mean? And I think that's why the home run has become such a big part of baseball. Stolen bases are down, but home runs, the emphasis on home runs is huge because at the end of the day, I mean, like take Tony Gwynn, for example. I mean, he got 3/4 of his hits between the shortstop and third baseman. Right. Well, guess what? Today, they wouldn't have a second baseman, so Tony Gwynn would have to literally try to change his game to pull the ball with a second baseman standing, you know what I mean? Instead of just being comfortable and shooting that ball, he called it the 5.5 hole, you know what I mean? He had it on the shoes, you know what I mean? Or 6.5 or whatever he called it, one of those, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, they would have 3 guys on that side of the diamond every time Tony Gwynn came up. So would he be at 320, he had 328 career, 338, something ridiculous, you know what I mean? So you take that in effect, and it's changed the whole dynamics of baseball, which that part is, I'm so on, but I do like it for, for these guys have so much technology, in their hands now that between video and workouts and plyo ball work and strength work and all that good stuff that, these guys are really lucky. They probably don't even know how lucky they are because they didn't play back in the Stone Ages when I played, and I played in the 90s, and that seems like the Stone Ages. So just imagine the guys.
Season. All right, so it felt like that's kind of what this was going to be, even though it's COVID related. It kind of felt like what this was going to be because there's so much distrust between the owners and the Players Association. Do you see that down the line of being a strike season somewhere down the line, since there's so much distrust?
Well, I definitely see it. I mean, at the end of the day, the owners are the owners and the players are the players. You know what I mean? I tell people all the time, we're the employee, they're the employer. So at the end of the day, players have to fight. So when we were told in '94 we went on strike, we're like, we're going on strike for the future players. I mean, these guys are making all the money now that we wish we would have made, but by us going on strike, they're making the money. Tony Gwynn played for 15 years, and Mike Trout makes more in 1 year than Tony Gwynn made his whole career, probably. You know what I mean? So you look at it, but '94 laid the groundwork. So the players at some point will have to strike, or the owners will lock the players out one or the other. And honestly, I think that the bargaining agreement is up in 2021. So I mean, it could be right down the road. The only thing I'm hoping with this pandemic, I'm hoping that maybe they can hash a few things out now. They can make that next transition a little bit easier. But I'll be honest, that next agreement is going to be a doozy, and I think the players are going to have to give some concessions. Just because there's so much money being thrown around now that at some point the owners, they have to make money as well. And I know they're making a ton right now. They don't really say that, but I know for a fact they're making a ton of money. But they have to understand that at some point, the ton of money they're making is because of those guys on the field. It's not because of anything else, but the product that they put on the field.
That's very unique that you say that, because last week we had on Greg Zahn, and he was giving us the full details of how much money the players and the owners are bickering after, and we could not believe how much they're fighting for, and it's like, honestly, like, ridiculous what they're fighting for. It's like, if that was all that was the case, I mean, just millions and millions of dollars, I mean, from these TV revenues to, I mean, of course, you're not going to have the fans, but you still got all this day instead for Sunday. So, I mean, couldn't they have just figured out a price and then get it done and over with, if that's all that was going on?
Well, you see, the problem is there's so many moving parts in these agreements, right? And at the end of the day, what we were told back in '94 is like, just remember, guys, anything you give up, you will never get back. And the owners know the same thing, right? So they know when they give something up and give it to the players, whatever they've given up, they will never get back. You know what I mean? So if it's over, revenue, and the owners are making 54% of the revenue, and the players are getting 46%. So if the owners know, okay, well, let's go to 49 or 51, right? They know they will never get the players back to that 46% revenue. But forever, it's going to be at 49. And they look, okay, in parts with so many other little intricate things around, that's the problem. Nobody wants to budge and give in, because they know once they give in and give the other side what they want, they're never getting that back. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? It's like, so everybody wants to hold on to whatever pieces, you got that piece of cake, you know what I mean? And you know that you want to give away 6 pieces, but once you give those 6 pieces away, you just got the rest of the cake for you. Nobody wants to give any of their cake away. They want to try to get their cake and get some of the other guys' cake as well.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't see it as that. But before we let you go, I got one more question to ask you, and of course it's about our Padres. So I want to ask you, I know it's a shortened season, and it's a long haul for 60 games and playoffs. Do you honestly see them getting over the Dodger curse this year?
I highly doubt it, just because the way I look at it, the one thing I can say, I think the wild card teams are going to come out the West, because I think and if you look at the West, the Central, and the East, I think the East has the strongest top to bottom teams. I think the Central is middle. I think they're middle of the pack, and I think the West has the best chance of maybe getting a division winner and a wild card. Do I see the Padres winning the division? Probably not. You know what I mean? Do I see them maybe getting hot and getting lucky? Because let me tell you right now, you can't just be good in this game. You got to be good and you got to be lucky. You got to have both on your side to just even win a division. As good as the Dodgers are, they can't just be good this year. They have to be good. They have to be lucky. They have to have perfect timing. They have to have guys stay healthy. They have to keep guys from getting sick. You know what I mean? There's so many things that have to line up this year that I would not count anybody out. Maybe the Baltimore Orioles. Maybe let's count the Orioles out, right? Maybe let's count the Marlins out. You know what I mean? But the Padres, I think they have a chance. Obviously, at the end of the day, they're going to have to pitch like crazy. You know what I mean? Some of these young guys are going to have to step up and do things they haven't done. But the thing about it is, at the beginning, the pitcher's going to have the upper hand on the hitters, because at the end of the day, a pitcher could get in shape and have his stuff quick, whereas a hitter, he has the hit. He has the see, live at bats. He has the see at bats. So, when you take a 3-week spring training instead of a 2-week mini camp, where you're facing some hitters, some pitchers. Then you play, 4 weeks of spring training games, and then you play a couple of exhibition games. You roll right into the season. Those guys' eyes are ready. They're ready to roll. Their timing is on. Well, now you're taking them. You're literally throwing them into let's work out for a couple of days. Let's see a couple of pitches for batting practice, and let's go play 2.5 to 3 weeks of games, which you're looking at probably 12 to 15 spring training games. I don't know exactly, but I'm just throwing that out there in that range. You're talking. So the thing about it is, you can't send. You're not going to send your star. Manny Machado's not going out there and going to get 4 at bats his first game, probably, because you're thinking, well, dang, if Manny pulls a hamstring on his 4th at bat, he ain't going to do me any good on July 24th when we start the season, So Manny's going to get 2 at bats his first game and 2 at bats for 3 or 4 games, and then that's how those guys work their way up. By the time he gets to getting 4 at bats a game, it's going to be game 10, 12, 11, and 13 in that range, 14 is spring training. So he's coming out of spring training with 50 at bats instead of maybe 100 at bats. So guess what? When he gets in the game, everything speeds up even more. That pitcher's amped up even more. So now he's got to get his game timing on. So pitcher's going to be ahead of hitters early.
It's going to definitely benefit the pitchers. I can guarantee you that right now. This shortened season, it's going to be fun to watch, and I can't wait. And I know my partner can't wait either, since he's a diehard Rays fan. So can't wait. It's going to be fun.
I like the Braves, but I still think the 2 teams to beat, the Dodgers and the Yankees. Obviously, Astros are good. I just think they're going to have a lot of drama with them from what went down, from last year. Major League, the Astros are their rival. You know what I mean? The Red Sox are their rival for what they did, what they got caught up in. So even when the Brewers play the Astros, not that big a rivalry. But guess what? It's going to be a big rivalry, because at the end of the day, the Brewers want to put it on the Astros and say, like, so you can't beat me now that you're not banging on the garbage can, But so I still like the Astros. I like their talent. I like their pitching staff. I like their, they did lose Cole. Cole. And so at the end of the day, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, definitely, and we can't wait for it. I'm glad you spent some time with us. We appreciate it. Spend some time out of your busy schedule to come on with us and help us out. We definitely like to have you on once the season comes back, and towards the end of the season, if you don't mind coming back on.
Definitely, anytime, man. Anytime you guys want to chat, I'm always open, man.
Perfect. Thank you. That's what we like to hear.
Appreciate it, Scott. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a great evening. Stay safe.
You too.
Same with you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Wow. What a great conversation with a former Padre. I'm thrilled. I mean, his insight with the Padres was good, and you heard himself. He's a Rays fan too. You think they can? I don't know.
Yes, I think they can. It's interesting. He thinks teams that have the better bullpen would benefit from the 60-game season. He brought up some good points there, where the pitchers are not going to be able to stretch out, get stretched out in spring training 2.0. So I think again that benefits the team. He mentioned the Brewers, which has a great bullpen.
Yeah.
But the Rays have the best numbers. Last year they were the best bullpen. ERA wise.
And you know what Cash does. He manages with the best, with the opener.
Yeah.
Everybody starts
Rays,
that now.
They mix and match. They're progressive in their thinking. They're forward thinking. And a season like this, where you have to be forward thinking, I think it's made to order for the Rays to win, to go far, and to win it. I do.
We forgot to ask him. We should have asked him if he liked the rule about what they implemented for the minor league. We forgot to ask him on that, his take on that as a former player.
Yeah,
I wanted to hear his opinion.
Yeah, I actually would have liked to have heard what he said about the extra innings rule. Yeah, or the DH.
Universal DH. Yeah, so that would have been great to hear. But I mean, he knows personally the best that he played with. As he said, he was drafted in '90, came up with the Padres, played with the best: Ken Caminiti, Greg Vaughn, Tony Gwynn. I mean, he played with the best of the Padres, shall I say. So, I mean, it was just great to hear how it was playing with guys like that, how great guys they were, where they went. I mean, I'm glad he spent time with us, and that he's going to come on again. But let's get on to our next guest, former NFL player, former Buccaneer great, your guy, and former New England Patriot, played 10 years as a cornerback, Ricky Reynolds. So let's give him a call. Can you hear us, Ricky?
Hello?
Can you hear us?
I can hear you, yes.
Perfect. Welcome to the show, the Sports Space Show with Byron and Eric. How are you tonight?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. Staying safe. I hope you and your family are as well.
Yes, we are. We're staying safe.
There you go. There you go. And you want to start it off, Eric? Let's do this. Go ahead. Start it off.
Hey, Ricky. Thanks for joining us on the Sports Base Show. First question I had for you. I was kind of like to ask, college days. What was it like playing at Washington State University, and then also getting drafted high in the second round? So take us through your college days and the draft night experience.
Well, it was an incredible experience. Playing out in the great Palouse out of Washington State. Coming out of high school, I really didn't have a whole bunch of scholarship offers. I actually got a scholarship out of a high school all-star game. And I played well and about 3 or 4 right on the spot. And I had a few days to decide where I was going to go, and I ended up picking Washington State. Just had a great feeling. And went there and without even seeing the place. And it was beautiful. It was out in the Palouse where there's a bunch of wheat fields are, and sitting on top of a hill, beautiful campus, and just had a great time being out there in the Palouse. Got a chance to play with Keith Millard, who was a great defensive lineman that played years with the Vikings in the National Football League, and Mark Rippon was our quarterback, Super Bowl MVP with the Washington Redskins. So had a great time playing out there in the Palouse. And then going on, I probably started really playing my sophomore season. I played special teams as a freshman, and then started really in the starting lineup as a sophomore. And I said, yeah, I'd play. I'm like, yeah, I'd play some pro football. And he said, because there's a lot of scouts where they were, but I caught a lot of their attentions, and so they started really scouting me and honing in on me. And going into the draft, I had no idea where I was going. I ended up playing in the Blue-Gray All-Star Classic, and I played in the East-West Shrine game, and then I got selected to be in the Combine, and before I know it, the coaches were coming in, working me out, and then we were predicting I was going to go second or third round. So I was like, wow, it's a lot different today than it was. They started predicting really early on, where the guys are going to get drafted. But it was a lot different back then, and it was a great experience, and wouldn't trade it for the world.
Awesome.
So now I want to get into little current events, shall we, real quick, before I ask you about one question about your career. I want to know, with the Hall of Fame game being canceled just this couple days ago, do you think in your heart that the season will start on time with all these COVID tests?
I believe the season will start on time. I believe that these guys are pushing for it, that they want it to get on time. My issue is that I don't know if they're going to be able to play the full season. I think they can probably get these guys in a place to where they can, probably protect them for a little while. But once these guys really start playing and practicing as well, you don't always know who has the COVID-19, and if somebody is asymptomatic and they're really not showing many symptoms, they can contaminate half the locker room, and then all of a sudden now you have half the team sitting out, or you can have your starting offensive unit out, or whatever have you. I think there could be some problems later on down the road. Imagine if we're playing the New Orleans Saints, and one of their running backs, has the COVID, and everybody on our defense tackles them during the game. All of a sudden, all these guys are contaminating. Our whole starting defense is out. That would be something crazy. I've been thinking about this thing, and that's something that definitely can happen. But I think these guys are really pushing to try to get this thing off the board and moving. I think they're supposed to start training camp July 28th, and I think they're shooting for that date, and I think we'll probably end up getting.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. I don't know when either, but I hope it's soon, and I hope we get to play the whole season, because I know right now, as of right now, I know we ain't going to have no fans in seats. I know era, so might not be able to go see him for a while. So, I mean, that's very disappointing,
Thanks for reminding me, Byron. Thanks for reminding me.
No problem. So that leads me to that question then. Do you think eventually there'll be butts in the seats?
Oh, boy, yeah. I mean, eventually, I think the stadium is big enough to where you can get so many people in there and really keep them apart, keep them away from each other. If you have groups of people that, families that know each other, that can come and sit with one another, and then, really spread the groups out, I think you definitely can get people out there. But at this state where the COVID is, and the way it's growing here in Florida and in many other states as well, I don't think there's no chance that they're going to try to allow people to come in and have the opportunity to some of those people to maybe get staff members or other people in the stadium contaminated with it at this point. So it's something that I think it's way off in the distance before these fans will be sitting in the seats.
Okay, so I see you had a very good 10-year career as a cornerback, both here in Tampa and in New England. We also had one of your former teammates on, Randy Grimes, on here as well. What was it like playing with him and other guys here, knowing that we did not have a winning culture here at the time, or a winning owner that did not care? What was it like playing here? What was your experience like?
Well, I mean, believe it or not, it was great. I mean, just to be able to play on a team in the National Football League is an experience of its own. And a guy like Randy Grimes was a veteran player that had been playing in the league way before I was here, and so to come in and have to be under some of his leadership was great. I mean, he was a consummate pro. He went about his work seamlessly. He worked hard and was a leader on and off the field, and he was great to be around. And it was definitely tough losing in Tampa, but the things that you remember is the camaraderie and the family unit that was here, because back then we didn't have free agency, so most of the nucleus of the team that was here for a while were all here. We got to know each other. We got to know each other's family, kids, and whatnot. And so we would barbecue together, hang out, do different things. And so, we really became tight, with, quite a few of the players that stayed here in Tampa during the course of my tenure. And it was, like I said, it was a great experience. It was a lot of fun, except for the losing. That really got frustrating at times. But, you hang in there, you just go out and you try to battle and do the best you can each day and each week, and try to perform at a high level. And that's all I could do at that point.
Right. And so I take it sounds like you still follow the NFL. Do you have a favorite team you follow? Is it the Buccaneers or?
Yeah. Well, I do a little show with on Fox 13 with Scott Smith, Tailgate Sunday. So
I didn't know that.
So I do. Yes, we come on Sundays mornings at 10:30. But we do a pregame show and some postgame shows. But I definitely follow the Buccaneers pretty closely.
Right.
Because of that, and because I live right here in Tampa. It's the team that we see on a regular basis. So I am a Buccaneer fan.
So I guess I got to ask you. We've probably had the most active offseason ever in Tampa Bay. What's your take on the Bucs, and are your expectations as high as I'd say most fans are?
Well, yeah. I mean, they had a great offseason. They, of course, had the biggest free agent of all, Tom Brady coming in, and Rob Gronkowski. I mean, it doesn't get any bigger than that. So, all of us feel the excitement in the air. Everybody cannot wait until these guys get on the field and start playing. Tom is older. I mean, he's been playing for many years. He's taken a lot of hits, and he's not the same old Tom Brady, but he has the wisdom. He has great experience. He knows what it takes to win. So all he has to do is be able to bring that out onto the field, stay healthy, and get the playmakers the ball. And I think they'll do well. Defensively, they just got to continue where they left off. These guys were playing very well the last quarter of the season. And so if these guys can get it back going again, build up that confidence, this team will win a lot of football games.
So interesting you bring that up, and I know you were a DB. I feel like for the Bucs to be very successful, I think it's the secondary and that young secondary. Are you high on the secondary? I like the nucleus we have there, but they're young.
Yes, I agree with you. They're very young. They are talented, though. They are very talented. These guys can play well. Carlton Davis is going into his third year. Very physical corner, makes plays on the ball. Jamil Dean is somebody that really came on strong. Made a lot of plays on the ball while he was in there, and he wasn't a regular starter at all. He was usually a substitute. And then you have Sean Murphy-Bunting, another young corner that played very well. And they drafted Antoine Winfield Jr. Coming in there. Jordan Whitehead, Mike Edwards, some of those guys, all young, very young guys, but a lot of talent. And the thing is that a lot of people don't understand is that when you're coming in and you're young, and sometimes you come from a lot of different systems, and it's taken a while for these guys to really learn the system here and to adjust to it and to be good at it. And that's what you saw towards the end of the season last year, is that these guys, the light bulb clicked on, and they like, okay, this is how you play this stuff, And so all of a sudden they were making plays, and they were reacting and driving on the ball, because now they know what they're doing. Before they were hesitant, they weren't sure, and things of that nature. And it just takes a little while when you're in a new system and you're playing at a different level like these young guys have been playing. And like I said, what's going to hurt them right now is that they didn't have an off season, to go back and walk through and go out, OTAs and stuff like that to really continue to work. So it's going to take them, a little bit of time, try to get that rhythm back and get themselves going. So hopefully they can get going quickly.
And to me, honestly, that was the biggest steal of the draft, was getting Antoine Winfield Jr. I followed his daddy throughout the 90s. Like, I wasn't no Minnesota Viking fan, but I remember watching all the games that he was on, because Minnesota at the time was always prime games with the likes of Dante Culpepper, Randy Moss, and Chris Carter. So, I mean, I was a huge fan of getting Antoine Winfield Jr. That was the biggest steal to me in a draft. Would you agree with that?
Well, he was definitely a big addition. They needed, especially at the safety position. I think they needed another player back there, and he was one that they've added. But I think for me, Tristan Wirfs, the offensive tackle, was huge because we definitely needed an upgrade there on the offensive line. We haven't been running the ball very well, and this guy is big, strong. He's physical, and he's going to be a difference maker up on the offensive line.
That's true. So I'm also now want to get into since you are still following with Fox in the pregame and the Bucks and all that, I want to ask you now, who do you think are the top 5 power teams in the NFL today, with the additions that were made this year?
Who are the top 5 teams?
Yeah.
Ooh, my goodness. Guys go right at it, huh? Well, you got to go with Kansas City. Super Bowl champions are definitely up there. You got to look at the 49ers. Got to look at the New Orleans Saints. They're definitely one of them. I got to look at the Baltimore Ravens, are one as well. And number 5, I'm not sure who I would pick for number 5. Who else is up there? I know those 4 right now off the top of my head, and I can't think of somebody else.
Would you put the Bucks at number 5, like a lot of people are putting them as?
I would not put them up there right now, just because this team needs to learn how to win first.
Right.
And they don't know how to win. These other teams have been, they've been winning, and they know how to win. So that's why I put them up there. They've been there. They were in the playoffs last year and playing on high level. So that's why I put them up there. And of course the Patriots are probably dropping off because they lost Tom Brady. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Otherwise,
yeah.
they probably would be up there as well. But I wouldn't put the Bucks up there yet. But I think they are. I would say they're up in the top 10.
Now, I also want to get into it with you. I'm no Cowboy fan, okay? But I want to get into the most overrated team in America, and that's the so-called America's team, all right? So I want to ask you, with Dak Prescott signing the franchise tag a couple days ago, do you see him signing a long-term deal with Dallas, or do you see them moving on away from Dak Prescott?
I actually see him signing a long-term deal eventually. I mean, it's too hard to find quarterbacks nowadays. I mean, everybody thinks you just go in the draft and find a quarterback. You can't. You may have one or two that may stick and be okay, but it is very hard to find a quarterback in the draft. And Dak Prescott is a solid quarterback. He's an ultimate pro, consummate pro, and he's just a guy that can play week in and week out. And he's very young, so he's still developing. He's still growing. He's going to improve and get better. I see him returning to Dallas. Like I said, he might find another, be a franchise player again next year. But he's not in no hurry. He has, total control of everything because everybody's looking for a quarterback. And they're looking for a reason. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So why would you let go of somebody that's been getting you, into the playoffs year in and year out, and just let him go, and take, a young guy that is unproven. You know what I'm saying? Some of these young guys come in and he's going to be the next, Tom Brady or whoever, and then boom, they just fizz out. Now they looking again. How long has it taken us, to really find a quarterback?
That's true.
Have you ever even found one?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they don't. It's not like they just come around. You know what I mean? So they have a solid quarterback. I would keep him and play with him.
All right. So now my final question to you is, I want to know, with everything that's been going on, do you see, with the president supporting him now, uh, the NFL supporting him now, and admitting that they were wrong, do you see Kaepernick signing with the team this year?
I hope he signs with the team. And I think the commissioner and some of these guys are kind of pushing and hoping that he gets that opportunity. The biggest thing is, are what owner is willing to go out and on the limb and give him that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? This guy's been out of football for 4 years. What does he have left in the tank? But it doesn't hurt, to give him a workout, to give him a shot. You know what I mean? And that's a tough question. I don't know if anybody's going to give him that opportunity, but I would, because I think he's talented enough, and there's teams that need help at quarterback. I think it's like the Pittsburgh Steelers when Roethlisberger got hurt last year. They, it really didn't have nothing.
Yeah.
Those guys, they, running guys all over the place. Jacksonville's, struggling a little bit. They can use some help. There's teams that could use some help at quarterback, and Kaepernick is a guy that he knows how to play the game, but it's been a while. But I would take a chance on him. Do I see him hitting that shot? I think he may get one more shot. I'm gonna say yes.
Now, this is what I don't understand. I mean, a lot of people are saying he should go to Baltimore because of his relationship with their offensive coordinator. That was his offensive coordinator when he was with the 49ers. But to me, that don't make no sense, because you already have two mobile quarterbacks. You have a solid backup in RG3, who's proven himself to be healthy, hasn't been hurt anymore since he was hurt all them years, and you got Lamar Jackson. So why add another mobile quarterback like Kaepernick? Yes, I get the relationship there, but why when you already have two mobile quarterbacks?
I agree with you. Unless they plan on dropping RG3 for Kaepernick. As far as Kaepernick's standpoint, that wouldn't be a good deal, because you really wouldn't get much of an opportunity to play. But if that's your only shot, you gotta take it. But as far as the team, a team like that, they want to stockpile as much talent as that that they can get at that position. And so to have three quarterbacks with the same type of ability makes sense, because if somebody goes down, I got two other guys that can do the same thing. So I don't have to change my system.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
Fair point.
So you know what I mean. So you can keep everything functioning as is, and play winning football no matter who's in there.
So, what last question that me and Eric have for you? We always ask our football guests. The Super Bowl this year, who do you see in it, and who do you see winning it?
Oh my goodness. Super Bowl. Oh boy, you guys are way out there early, aren't you?
Byron, take this question. I actually don't.
Well, I mean, man. All right, let's. It's hard to win them back to back. So it's really, really hard to go back to back. So, but you have a team like Kansas City who just loaded with talent. They're going to be right there. They're going to have a shot. But I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens in there. I think they're going to bounce back and find a way to fall in there this year. And then, and I'm going on a limb. I am definitely going on the limb. And I'm going to go with Baltimore and on the NFC side.
Are you going to say Bucks?
I want to, but no team has ever played the Super Bowl on his home field before. So that it's always the first, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, I would go with New Orleans, but I think they're gonna fizzle out at the end like they always do. So I'm gonna go with. Oh my goodness, you guys make this one tough. You know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say San Francisco.
Oh, okay. Okay. A Super Bowl
I'm gonna go San
rematch.
Francisco bounces back.
A Super Bowl rematch.
Yeah, I think
I like that.
Yeah, they got a solid
Yeah.
to get back there, and I think that that's what's going to do it for them.
Definitely. But yeah, we thank you for your time. We appreciate it. It's definitely insightful and glad to hear it from you, especially an analyst. So we'd like to have you on when the season comes back. We'd like to have you on again as many times as you'd like if you'd want to.
No problem. I enjoyed it, and wish you guys best of luck. Continue to do what you do. Thanks a lot, Byron and Eric. Thank you, guys.
Nope.
Thanks, Ricky. Thank you.
God bless.
Bye.
God bless.
Bye.
All right.
Wow. I mean, he had some insightful tips, didn't he? Wow. We're one. Oh, I didn't know he had a morning show with Scott Smith. We all know who that is from Fox 13. He's the sports reporter. I mean, I didn't know that. So, I mean, plus he had some sites full about the draft, about your boy Tristan Wirfs. He thought he was the steal of the draft, although it was still Winfield for me by far. I mean, he's the best, and he was the best corner in the draft. So, but what was your take on that? On the interview?
Yeah, I mean, youthful but talented, and I still think that's the key to the Bucs' success. A lot of people might say the running game because we've never had a running game. It's been a while, but I think that secondary, if they could be locked down and top 15, top half, top 10 in the league, which I think they're capable of, then I think the front seven of the Bucs is so dominant. Just an average secondary would make for a really.
Remember when we had him on saying how much of a leader he was, but for him to give Randy Grimes that compliment, I mean, that's saying something about Randy Grimes and how well he was liked in that locker room. I mean,
yeah.
So that was good. That was good to hear, and that they enjoyed playing with each other. But now off to a greater topic that you and I are going to agree to disagree upon, and you know what that is. And I'm going to bring this up right now. Your quarterback, Mr. Tampa Bay. So, you like the idea that he's been working out with his players, I assume, right? Against the word of the NFL PA and all that doctor. You actually like that? What's your take on that?
I look at it, it's professional athletes practicing, which to be a professional athlete, you have to practice. So
I disagree with you, sir, because he is known as a cheater to begin with. So I'm not a Tom Brady hater. I just never liked him. Two big differences there.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, two differences there. I mean, you know how that is. He should not be breaking the rules. I don't get why the NFL is not stepping in here. Is it because he's Thomas Brady? Is that why they're not stepping in here after the NFLPA doctor told no teams to practice? I mean, come on, NFL. Man up. Balls up. Whatever. Grow a pair. Tell them that they're not to be working out. That's what I think they should do. But no, because he's Thomas Brady, He's allowed to do whatever the hell he wants. Hmm.
I think again you're blowing this out of proportion, yeah, you're blowing this out of proportion.
Yeah,
you just don't like the. You don't like the guy.
It's not that I don't. Again, like cheaters.
He's not cheating. He's just throwing footballs like to his teammates.
Yeah, but against everybody's word. What other team do you see working out now? What other team do you see working out besides them? Because every other team abided by the NFLPA doctors. When do you hear other teams working out? Please tell me.
I don't know who else is working out.
Okay, thank you.
So Thomas G. Brady, his middle initial is we're going with GOAT. Thomas Goat Brady.
Okay. Is that what we're going with now? Is that what we're going with?
I think that middle name is GOAT. I'm pretty certain you could check the NFL and encyclopedia, but he's just it's just a competitive edge, which competitors, winners find edges in the system, and look, he's not forcing his teammates to come out there. I know Mikey Evans he just joined this week. They're not being forced to go out there.
Like the Flakegate and Spygate? Cheating.
Oh, because they're throwing some footballs at a high school. Sure, that's cheating. Everyone should get. You think everyone should get participation trophies too? You could admit that.
Yeah, I can admit that, but again, it's a topic we'd agree to disagree upon because I just don't think Brady's the GOAT. He's not the GOAT. I'm sorry, he's not the GOAT. I'm saying it here. I don't care. He's not the GOAT. Joe Montana to me was the GOAT, so no. Nope, Brady is not the GOAT. Nope. Joe Montana by far.
Did you even pick Joe Montana as the top quarterback when we did that a few months ago?
Yes, I did actually.
You did?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah. Who was your number one? I forget. It wasn't Brady. I know that. Paper? Do you still have the paper?
And actually, it's on video. We could go back and you can see me talking about it on video.
Okay, we'll have to go back and watch the video then. Okay.
Check out the podcast. Check out the pod on Anchor.
Okay, or we can hear it on Facebook and YouTube Live. So there we go at the
Spotify,
Space Show.
Apple,
Google, Sports Space Show with Byron and Eric. So yeah, also Twitter page. So I mean, there you go.
Yeah.
Etc.
Yeah, all those.
Yeah. So, is there any other sports coming up that you know of? Any UFC fellow fight fan? Is there any good UFC matches coming up that we should be aware of?
Well, there's a fight. There's a fight card tomorrow. It's a fight night, so it's not a big card. The next pay-per-view is July 11th with three championship fights. So yeah, July 11th is a big one.
Is that the one in Abu Dhabi, the Fight Island?
That's Fight Island. Yeah, this first one.
Are you gonna watch that?
Yes, I will find a place to watch it. It's a great card. It's a great card.
Who's fighting? I forget. Because I know it ain't Jones. Jones was stripped of the title because of money. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a good one. That is. Yeah. That is. I can't wait. I need to get back into UFC. It's been a while since I've watched it.
Yeah, you got to start watching it to get to know people.
Gone. BJ Penn's gone. Randy Couture's gone. Chuck Liddell. Rich Franklin. The Nogueiras. I mean, everybody's gone. I have to get in some new fighters, I guess. I don't know. But,
yeah.
I don't think there's anything else. Is there going on that we should be aware of?
No, that's about it. And yeah, it's just exciting. Baseball is baseball's back.
Yeah, cross our
So,
fingers that spring training actually starts the 1st.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes, and
And we will because we don't know about Toronto yet. There's talk that if Canada's not allowing people up there, there's talk that they might do it down here, play the games here in Dunedin.
you're in your backyard.
Yeah, but unfortunately we can't go. I mean, what would be the point?
I'm sure you can climb a tree and see them. You can climb a tree.
Oh yeah, if I break school grounds, yeah, of course, totally. Why not? But yeah.
Who do we got on the show? Do we got who do we got Sunday?
Sunday, that's a mystery. I don't know actually.
Okay.
I will text you and let you know, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm just going to throw it out there. I think I know off the top of my head. Dwayner Sanchez, former MLB pitcher. And he's going to be very opinionated. He already told me, so get ready. Are you prepared? Get your popcorn ready. You know where you heard that one from. Get your popcorn ready.
Okay.
He said
I like that.
Yeah. He said he's going to be very opinionated, so bring it.
I'll get the popcorn ready, yeah.
Yep. So
that's exciting.
Yeah, and then I forget who the other one is, but it's going to be fun. I guess
Perfect.
we'll be on like this again, 9 o'clock sharp.
Yep.
Follow us again on YouTube and Facebook at The Sports Bay Show, but with Byron and Eric. Also on Twitter, we have our own page, Sports Bay Show with Byron and Eric. You can also follow our own pages as well. That's where we'll have our shows. Mine's at Byron Richmond 4. What's yours, Eric? You can give to our fans so they can follow you too.
I don't know what it is, to be honest, on Twitter.
Okay, well, maybe
Way to put me on the spot there. Way to put me on the spot.
You're welcome. Anytime. So
I told you to ask. No, I didn't.
Anywho, it's gonna be a fun show. So follow us there. Follow us, as you said. We were talking about Anchor, Spotify, Google, Apple. So follow us there. Sports Bay Show with Byron and Eric as well. You guys stay safe out there with all this COVID going around. Don't do anything stupid. Don't go out kissing or touching or whatever.
Okay.
Random. And we will see you all Sunday night at 9 o'clock. Be there or be sharp. Have a good night, Eric.
All right. See you, Byron.
See ya.
Have a good one.